Hello, I'm Donald Leggett and welcome to the latest focusIR CEO interview. I'm joined by Stefan Bernstein, the CEO of GreenRoc Mining. GreenRoc have just released the Preliminary Economic Assessment, or PEA, for their graphite development at Amitsoq in Southern Greenland. This assesses the economic viability of the mine project, and Stefan is going to talk us through it right now. Hello, Stefan. And first of all, well done for delivering such a strong set of numbers in your PEA.
Yes, I'm really pleased about the results. The basic metrics is that we have an NPV at 8% discount rate of 235 million pre-tax with an internal rate of return of 31%. And the after-tax NPV8 is a $179 million and an internal rate of return of nearly 27%.
And out of those numbers, out of that sheaf of numbers that you published, the PEA, what for you are the economic highlights? What are the numbers that stand out for you that say this makes Amitsoq an economically viable project?
Well, first of all, the internal rate of returns that are higher than 25%, both pre-tax and after-tax, is great and signals that this is really a strong project. Of course, the positive NPVs is really important, but I'm also paying particular notice to the capital expenses, which is set at $131 million, which is quite low, but even that is inclusive of a 25% contingency, which is really good because it gives us a little bit of leeway for a variety of technical options when we get into construction. So it all signals a very robust preliminary economic assessment.
Okay. Do you think Amitsoq has the potential to become a world-class graphite development, given that those initial capex costs, as you just referenced, that are low, 131 million, including contingency, and the life of mine is 22 years. So that's a lot of time to be drilling and producing, with lots of future potential.
That's right, particularly because considering that the PEA concentrates only on the lower graphite layer, it does not concern the upper graphite layer at all. So there's certainly room for either extending the mine life or expanding the productivity at Amitsoq.
And either way is good news for the project.
Absolutely. I would also like to add that because of the high grades of the Amitsoq ore and the mine method, drift and fill, a substantial part of the tailings go back as backfill in the mine. In fact, more than 85% of the tailings is used as backfill in the mine, leaving only about 15% of the tailings that has to be disposed of, which is great for the environment, and it's great also for the reducing mining costs because it, of course, lowers the cost of transportation of tailings.
And you're planning to build your own processing plant in the UK also. So what difference does that make to the overall economics of the scheme?
Yes, we are currently undertaking a feasibility study of such a processing plant that provides us with anode material for the EV batteries, taking graphite concentrate from our mine in Greenland and process it into the active anode material. And we expect that to come up with a very positive economic potential also that will add further value to the entire project.
But in what way does it actually make it more viable? The fact that you're running these two processing and the mine in tandem.
That's because the processing plant itself will enjoy having a continuous and consistent flow of high quality graphite from our deposit in Greenland and is not forced to look for the graphite on the world market.
Okay, that makes good sense. And talking about the world market, this comes against the backdrop of China's announcement that it will limit graphite exports from December, which can only heighten demand for high quality graphite such as yours.
That's exactly right. Today, a battery manufacturer in Europe would have to source its graphite for the anodes in China. And with the restrictions that are being warned by December this year, of course, put some great dangers really to the supply chains. So we will do everything that we can to get up into production and make sure that that supply of graphite, which is so important for the European car industry and for the UK car industry, is available as soon as possible.
Okay, and let's move back to the mine. Where are you in terms of inferred, indicated, and measured GROC graphite resource, and how helpful is that exceptionally high quality grade that you were mentioning?
So nearly 75% of the resource that goes into the preliminary economic assessments is in the measured and indicated category, and only 25 in the inferred. And it only takes a little bit of drilling to lift that inferred into indicated and measured resource. And the grade is extremely important because it lowers the cost, the operating cost, to produce a graphite concentrate at Amitsoq very significantly.
Okay, and what happens next? What, big project, what are the timelines? What happens next? Could you paint us a picture of the future?
Yes, the preliminary economic assessment is extremely important, of course, because it provides us with a foundation to go on with the project. It shows that it's a potential economic viable project. The next steps would be into the getting more constraints on the variety of the uncertainties now, and then onto the pre-feasibility study, which is due next year, and then onto the definitive feasibility study or bankable feasibility study, and then onto construction that leads eventually to start of production.
And of course, you're trying to fast track this process, which doesn't make it any easier for you, but it does make a lot of sense. So what does it feel like, given that you've got to do this in a very constrained period of time?
I think it's great. It's a great situation now to sit with a PA that just shows how robust an economic undertaking it is to get Amitsoq into production. And I think it's a lot of excitement now to fast track this process and make sure that we can meet the demand in the coming time.
So to what extent is Greenland a mining-friendly jurisdiction, Stefan? And as we know, Southern Greenland actually has a more favourable climate. So tell us about all those things.
Because it's South Greenland, there's also a relatively mild climate. It only is at the same latitude as southern Norway or northern Scotland, and because it's so close to the ocean, the climate is moderated by the warm sea, and therefore the fjords don't freeze over in the winter and so on. And Greenland is really also very favorable to extracting minerals and getting a mineral industry up and running. They see it as a way to diversify the economy, of course, and also, of course, it provides jobs for locals. And Greenland has always been exploiting its natural resources.
My final question to Stefan: why should investors consider investing in GreenRoc Mining at this inflection point in the development cycle?
First of all, graphite is a key component in the energy transition. GreenRoc Mining has a great world-class graphite project in Greenland, and the preliminary economic assessment that we just announced now shows that it's a very profitable undertaking to mine this graphite deposit.
Stefan Bernstein, CEO of GreenRoc Mining, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your thoughts about the PEA. For more company information and to access the company bulletin board, please go to the GreenRoc pages on London South East. And meanwhile, do follow us on Twitter. That would be @_focusIR_ and also @London South East. Or register on London South East YouTube to receive alerts to our next GreenRoc interview. Thank you very much indeed for watching.